been feeling blue. My money is too. Shawty act rude till she seen it too. I've been feeling blue.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of What's the Dealio. Today, I have an amazing guest, a homie. We're going to spend a lot more time together. My man, Josh York, GYMGUYZ. Let's go, Josh. What's up? Good morning.
Let's go, man. I appreciate you having me, Jay. Thank you so much.
Man.
Thank you.
We chopped it up for like a half hour before we even hit record.
We've been doing this for a while, yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. Let me hear a little bit about how you actually started your company.
Yeah, so I've always been a personal trainer. I've always loved fitness. I love helping people. And pretty much throughout high school, I was training people. I was doing it for a very long time. And I used to always think to myself, how can I make money when I'm sleeping? Because being a trainer, I always say, is like being a doctor. Yep. A doctor without patients is unemployed, and a trainer without clients is unemployed. And I was doing very well as a trainer, very well. And I gave it all up to take a marketing job for like $35,000 a year when I was making high into the six figures as a personal trainer. But I knew, like, I can't train people in my 50s, and like, what's the plan? Like, it's just not going to work. So took this marketing job, and I'll never forget the first day I walked in there. I think about it all the time. Just the negative energy. I felt it like pouring like down the walls. Everyone was just miserable. Ugh. It was like the worst feeling I've probably ever felt in my life. And I'm a big guy about like vibration and like being around the right people. And like you just felt like crap being in this office. And I started doing some research around it, like just like out of curiosity. And 85 to 90% of people drive to work committing spiritual suicide every day.
Really?
Every single day. So Sundays around 7 p.m., people develop anxiety. Mondays is obviously the worst day in the world. Wednesday, it's a little better because it's the halfway point. And then Fridays, people are bouncing off the walls because they're super excited, right? And they live for 2 days a week. That's pretty horrible if you want to live the rest of your life like that. I don't care how much money you're making, you're going to be miserable and you're going to be unhappy. So I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I left. I went back into training.
How long did you last?
Like, I don't know, man. Maybe 2 months, if that.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, like it wasn't too long, but and I gave all my clients up, so I had to start all over again. And I started building up my clientele, and then one day, one of my clients at the time came in late. She always came in late, but that day in particular, she said, "Josh, I wish you can come to my house. I just don't have any equipment." And I was like, well, light bulb went on. I was just like, no one's ever really professionalized that concept. People do it, but no one's actually ever professionalized it, franchised it, and scaled it. You know, and I started thinking about like cleaning companies, like these big cleaning franchises. Like, how hard is it for you and me to get a mop and a couple rags and some sprays and go clean houses? Well, yeah, it sounds easy, but to scale it is not easy. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a van. I'm going to stock it with all the equipment, enough equipment to provide you a fantastic workout, 365 days a year, backed by our 3 C's, convenient, customized, and creative workouts. And we're going to service clients anywhere. Home, office, pool, park, place of worship, hospitals, senior homes, assisted living facilities, corporations, schools, you name it. Came up with the name GYMGUYZ. It's an acronym for Get You Motivated. Goals uniquely yours, zero excuses. If you look up the word guys in a dictionary, it's referred to a group of people, regardless of their sex. And I was like, this is going to be the largest fitness brand in the world. Started it, and
what year was this?
This was in 2008.
Okay.
In my parents' dining room. And then we started franchising in 2014. And today we are the largest personal training company in the world. We service over 1,500 cities. We're in 31 states. We operate in 3 countries, about to go into 2 new countries we're working on right now. And yeah, it's pretty exciting.
That's amazing. I mean, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I work with a lot of founders of concepts, both corporate and franchise, and it's not easy to get where you got. And it's also not surprising that you got here. And we were talking a little bit about manifestation and, how you actually do anything great, right? And you've been working your ass off.
That's it, man. Yeah, I appreciate the kind words, but like, everyone looks for like some like secret sauce or like this like magical fairy dust. Yeah. You just work, you just show up, and 99% of the time you might not want to do it, but the magic is always in the work you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And people also have a problem because as soon as like fear enters their world, they right away just fold like a cheap chair, and fear is actually the greatest indicator that you should do it.
Yeah.
But most people don't. And, I like to give the example recently. It's obviously a very unfortunate situation with the people that went under to see the Titanic, right? You had 2 billionaires on there.
Yeah.
And I asked people, why were they billionaires? I don't know why. It was very simple. They're risk takers. Yeah. That's why. Yeah. Just like they took the risk, that risk, unfortunately, horribly did not work out well. But the only way you're going to get to the next level is by taking risks. Like some of the things I have done, like it's almost like it's not almost like you just can't think. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like
100%. I actually say that if I knew what type of headwinds and challenges I would have had when I started Sabre, I probably wouldn't have done it. You know, and I think you have to have that kind of, you have to start and just be willing to go.
You got to be carefree, and you can't. You have to really be able to develop an insane amount of resiliency.
I think that's the biggest key to success is
because,
resilience.
like, I remember back in the day, because I've done this bootstrapped. I have no private equity, no investors. I own 100% of the company. I remember I took out a loan, put up my house for it, right, for like $1.4 million. I didn't even need the $1.4 million. I got approved for it, signed off on it, didn't even read the documents, didn't even care. I just like, it doesn't matter. I'll figure it out. Like, that's literally what I said.
Yeah.
And people are like, what, are you an idiot? Listen, I don't need to listen to what anyone needs to tell me. I know what I'm capable of, and I know my powers. And I was like, I really only need $500. I'll use all the other money to pay the payment every month, and I'll figure it out as it gets closer. Well, let me tell you something. It got bad, right? Like I defaulted on that for 6 months.
Oh, wow.
They were about to take my house away. Success is a game. And if you want to play the game, the one who's going to survive the longest is the one who stays in it the longest. Yeah. And trust me when I tell you this, there is always a way. There's always a way to figure it out. There's always a solution. You just can't ever tap out. That is honestly the key.
Yeah, I mean, I find that with my most successful clients for sure, and I'm involved in the fires and the challenges, and ultimately, resilience and knowing that there's always a way out of something is so key. I could not agree with you more. Tell us a little bit about you have an insane daily routine, which I love. I mean, I'm into a lot of the same stuff that you are, but man, you get up at what time?
I'm going to give you a new one today.
Yeah,
it's really
please.
Good. But so I get up every day at 3:29. Not 3:30, not 3:28, 3:29. And the reason it's 3:29 is because a normal person would probably wake up on the 30. And I believe if you're normal, you're going to die, right? You're never going to survive. And I don't like to do anything normal. Like, I love when people tell me I'm crazy. Yeah. I love when people tell me you're not normal, because that's what I believe. I believe I'm the greatest in the world, and you should believe the same damn thing.
100%.
Right? Like, I you know what gets me pissed off? Like, not to shift the subject here, but like people call me the GOAT. Why are you calling me the GOAT? You should be calling yourself the GOAT.
Yeah.
Like, don't call me the GOAT.
Yeah.
But I get up at 3:29. First thing I do is I go right into my ice bath at 27 degrees. And I know everyone's into the ice baths now. I've been doing this since I'm 17 years old. I'm a big hockey player. My coach used to tell me to do it, and I just got into the routine of doing it, and I literally been doing it ever since. Yeah. Jump in 3 minutes, get out, let my body naturally warm up, wash up, brush my teeth, do all that stuff, and then I eat something light, go work out anywhere from 2 hours, 2.5 hours, depending on the day with my cardio or how I do it. Then depending on the day, I jump in a sauna, shower, and I'm usually at my building anytime between like 7 and 7:15.
Yeah, I see your truck. Yeah. I drive past. You're already at your building typically when I'm like getting to the gym. Put it into perspective, I've never been like a super early riser, and it's funny. I think that's a key thing also about knowing yourself too, because I don't think, and I had Robin Sharma on my other podcast, who I love, 5 a.m. Club. I think he's amazing. Yep. And it's guaranteed. By the way, I should probably chime in here and say I partied and slept most of the day for a very big part of my life, and then found like a healthy lifestyle.
And that's good, and I'm proud to hear that, man.
Yeah, man. So, but it's not something I was always into.
Yeah, and that's all right. But look, everyone could change. It's funny. So I've actually never been drunk.
I've
never
crazy,
smoked a cigarette.
Yeah.
I've never been high.
Wow.
And I used to get peer pressured all the time by people back in the day, and I always knew that I was superhuman. That's what I believe. Yeah. And I always knew that it was like a superpower I had. Yeah. And it's funny when now you hear people talk about it all the time, but like you operate at just a higher level, and no one can touch you when you really have a clear vision and understanding of what's going on. And I don't like to ever not be in control. So I've never wanted to put myself in a situation like that. And honestly, I just never liked the taste of alcohol anyway. Yeah. But you have to really, have clarity. It's very important.
Yeah, I mean, I've found that since I've been completely clean. My last drink was actually on New Year's Eve of 22. And it was just, I just challenged myself. It became, I did 75 hard last year twice just for shits and giggles. And that removed the alcohol from, for prolonged periods of time. And then I was like, you know what, I'm just not going to drink for 23. And now I don't, there is no upside in drinking and partying. There's zero upside. And I feel like you got to a certain place because you were fucking dialed in
Always
24/7 for your whole life, essentially, which is crazy.
So it's crazy, man. Like I used to like, it's funny. Like I think back to like school, like it's just weird. Like it's crazy when I really think back, like, because I see it in my kids now, but they watch what I do and they know I'm nuts and they're like the same way. But like I was always the first online. I was always like, I'll never forget this. The football coach, I didn't play football. I always played hockey. Like when I got really into exercise and working out, like, dude, I'm like sick. Like I'm obsessed. Like I am obsessed. And I had nowhere to work out. So I asked the gym coach, he had football practice. I was like, you think you'd open up for me and let me work out? He's like, sure. So I used to go when there was no school. I would bike to my school and I'd work out in the gym, right? I also got suspended. I'll tell you another story about that. But one day I'm working out, just me. He brings the whole football team into the locker room, into the gym. And I'm like, what's going on? He's like, hey, Josh, I'm sorry to disturb you working out. I just wanted to introduce you to the football team, and I wanted to talk to the football team, and actually wanted you to say something to them. I was like, what did you want? What do you want me to say to them? It's like, well, let me introduce you to Josh York. He actually asked me if I could open up the gym to work out. Who else is in here, guys? And they're like, no one. They're like, do you think it's normal that Josh is here during a week off to be working out in our school when there's no school? No. Why do you think he's doing it? They're like, I don't know. And he starts talking about discipline and character. And he said to me that day, I'll never forget, he's like, you're special. I'll never forget that. And I was like, thank you. But like I was young, I didn't really understand it. But now when I think back to all the different things, like I always had it in me, right? Like I used to back in the day, like when I really got into like wanting to like develop muscles and have a good physique, I used to bike to the gym 2.5 miles from my house. I used to live in New Hyde Park. I used to go to this gym. It was called Mineola Health Club. Okay. So you know where like Mama T's in Garden City?
Yeah, of course.
I live by Clingy Martin.
Okay.
So I would bike all the way over there. It's like kind of like down, what is that road over there? You know where like there's a Dunkin' Donuts across from like a Mama Teresa's over there in the corner?
Like on Jericho Turnpike.
Off Jericho.
Yeah.
Like right down there was where the gym was. I would bike there and I didn't know what I was doing. I would spend like 5 hours in the gym, man. I was just like crazy.
Yeah.
Doing every body part. I didn't know what I was doing. And then I would bike back. And I did this for like a long time. And I don't know why I did this because I never had anything to do all day. But like I was always up early and I was always different. But as you get wiser and smarter over time, you start to see these qualities and understand them. And I see them in my boys, right? But like, I was a horrible student. My teachers told me I would never be anything. I remember a college professor, I failed his class 3 times. And he's like, you're just a dumb jock. You're never going anywhere. And the whole time, like, I just realized, like, I'm just not like these people. Like, I'm different.
Yeah.
And people think you need to be great at school. Dude, I would never go to school if I didn't have to. Like, school was the biggest waste of time for me. And my wife, who's a teacher, hates when I say that.
Oh God.
But like you, I feel like you go to college, like if you want to have an experience of a good time, like, yeah, it teaches some good qualities about living on your own and stuff like that. So I'm not going to knock it because there are positives to it.
Becoming a lot less popular too.
But like, if it's up to me, like I'm not sending my kids to school, like to college, like, my wife's going to want to, I know, because she like went away and she loved it. But like, you just put yourself in a severe amount of debt.
Yep. When,
you should be taking that money and investing in yourself.
Sure.
And with the amount of content that's out today, forget it. But like what I want to tell you with the story of getting suspended. So I used to cut class all the time. I'm not advising people to do this. I don't know who's watching this, but I used to cut class all the time. And like the push doors?
Yeah, of course.
I used to take masking tape and I would tape it so I could pull it open. And I would literally go in throughout the day and get my workout in during school. Like I was just like obsessed, man. But like obsession is the greatest quality in the world.
Absolutely.
And I think back to these things, it's just crazy. And then I got caught one day and the principal came, he's like, what the hell are you doing? I said, I'm training buys and tries. And he's
hysterical.
like, you're not allowed to be doing that. And I got suspended for a week from school.
That's a good reason. I think I got suspended for worse, so
yeah,
it's not a bad thing. So I want to unpack a bunch of different things that you said, and I'm actually just generally curious about a few things, just hearing how you think of things.
Yep.
So you said something about, having amazing confidence, right? And I think we all form our identities, right? And our own vision of ourselves as a result of somebody telling us we're special young or somebody telling us we're a dumb jock, right? We're conditioned to believe who we are. And the older I get and the more that I focus on my own growth and self-care and all that stuff, I continue to evolve so much in a compressed amount of time, right? Because we're collapsing time by just being dialed in 24/7.
Yep.
It's interesting, and I'm curious your take on this, because sometimes confidence comes off very egotistical.
Yep.
And my wife and I have conversations around that, similar to your wife being a teacher and you talking about not having to go to school. Are there people super close to you that are like, dude, you need to like chill out a little bit? Do you ever get like feedback from people that love you so much that they just don't really view things the same way?
Look, I'm a very positive person, but I really don't have like any close family. Like that's like, I had a horrible life growing up.
Okay.
And I'm just being real. Like I don't even talk to my parents, and it's really upsetting and sad. But like, listen, man, the bottom line is if you're gonna hang around negative people, and be around negative energy, you're gonna become negative and be a negative person. That's it. And I do believe that a lot of my like rough growing up, my childhood made me who I am today, and I wouldn't change a damn thing. Yeah. But pain has to be part of the equation. Agreed. And it comes in some form or some like it's funny, like like you tell me you're partying and yeah, like I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but like I think like drug addicts and alcoholics have such an insane skill and they don't even realize it. They just got to clean up and go in the other direction because they're obsessed, right? They're addictive.
Wes Watson talks about that. Do you know Wes?
Oh, I know Wes. Yeah,
he talks about that podcast heavily, right? Like he goes into like
they're
the most committed.
I wasn't aware of that, but that is very true.
Yeah.
It's very, very
Alcoholics
true.
Alcoholics are the most committed.
It's very, very true, and they have a quality that is a skill that is very hard to obtain. Yeah. But they just got to shift their focus, right? And I'm a big believer in that. And again, like the pain, like. Listen, I was not always very confident, right? I used to suffer from severe anxiety for a very long time. I used to throw up every morning for probably years, man. Every morning I'd have such anxiety, I would throw up every morning. It used to be difficult for me to talk to somebody. Yeah. I'm actually extremely introverted. People don't believe that, but I'm actually very introverted. When I turn it on, I'm extroverted, but when not, like I'm like good just being alone. Like I have no problem with that, right? Don't have many friends, lots of acquaintances. But like when I'm free, like I'm busy, man. So like when I'm free, I'm with my kids, my wife. Like I spend time with my family. Like that's where I want to be.
100%.
But at the end of the day, I feel like anyone can do it, but you have to condition yourself through some form of struggle or pain, discomfort. Because no one was telling me growing up that I'm amazing. No one was telling me growing up I'm special. The only one who was a very important role model in my life was my grandfather, who I miss more than anything. He was like my father. He was like my mother. He was like everything to me, man. Like this guy was like I get even emotional even talking about the guy. It's not a day goes by I don't think about him. But he was probably the most positive person in my life that created a lot of positive impact in many ways. Got me into hockey. He put me in karate, which at first I didn't like, but then I ended up getting my black belt. Wow. That's definitely built my physique. Like my abs are definitely from karate. Like karate was very good from a discipline perspective, but I feel like you just need that struggle in your life. Yep. And that's what's going to really shape you and mold you. And as you get older and you start to become wiser and learn and you put yourself around the right people, you can develop that confidence, you know? And, but like, I get comments all the time from people on social media, like, you're so cocky. Look, I don't care what anyone thinks.
I'm not even talking about them. Yeah. That's completely irrelevant. I'm talking about people closer to you.
But like initially, of course, people, like when I told them I'm going to build the largest fitness brand in the world, they're like, you're what?
Exactly.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Like, go get a job. Like I used to be friends with a guy and he's like, you should just get a 9-to-5 job. Like, that's going to be good for you. Like, start a business. You're not smart enough to do that.
By the way, but his feedback for a lot of normal people is probably the right feedback, right? Like at the end of the day, because the reality is like, I don't think everybody's built to start their own company.
No.
And you have to be willing to do fucking anything to get through those early stages. What was the biggest challenge early on for GYMGUYZ?
Cash, man.
Yeah.
Always. I suffered with like.
Did you have mentors early on?
Yeah, well,
or were you too proud? Were you like, somebody like myself who's like, I could fucking do this on my own. I don't need anybody. You were smarter than me.
I've been surrounded by, like, I have 4 friends that are multi-billionaires.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to give all their names out in here, but like I'm some of the largest brands in the world that like I'm friends with the founders. Like I've made a lot of connections through our franchising, and that's definitely what's got me to where I am today. One who is really key, he's no longer here, was Fred DeLuca, the founder of Subway.
Yeah, of course.
I met him in 2014 at the first franchise show I went to. And he's like, kid, you remind me of me. And I was like, holy crap, like this guy's telling me this.
Yeah.
And like that used to always build up my confidence more. But I've always surrounded myself around the right people. But look, I suffered with like massive cash flow issues for probably like a decade.
Yeah.
Like so bad, like literally, I ended up People don't believe me when I tell them this. I've had more negatives in my bank account than sunny days in the Caribbean. I literally paid almost probably $6,000 in non-sufficient funds. Every time I'd go to the bank, there was a negative, and I used to be so embarrassed. But every time I'd walk in the bank, I kept telling myself, one day it's not going to be like this. One day it's not going to be like this. One day, and you know.
Was it? See, it's interesting because I am very involved in helping people like yourself that are founders of concepts, more on the physical, that have a physical component, a storefront.
Yep.
And I see a lot of folks early on that, didn't account for certain things in their projections and so on and so forth. And obviously being conservative when it comes to, okay, well, if we think we're going to do this, we should probably pad it. So where were you falling short? What was the biggest?
So, and I was going to touch on this. So, here's the reason why I suffered with cash flow issues, because, dude, I move fast.
Yeah, me too.
Like I don't think.
Yeah.
Like I'm an action taker.
Yeah.
The action takers are the money makers, man. You want to be fortune favors the bold. You want to make money, you gotta be bold. And 99% of the things I did, I would just say, "Yep, no problem," and I had no money.
Yeah.
Like at one point, I did a deal with a company, and they was like, "No problem, we'll start it, we'll fund it." I owed them $100,000. And I said, all right, if I could do this, I know I'll bring in enough business that I could pay him back.
Yeah.
And you damn well know I made that happen.
Yeah.
So listen, if you think you're getting to the other side without owing people money, without going through massive pain, it's never going to, because the way I've grown, which has been rapidly,
yeah,
is because of all the moves I've made.
Totally.
They've always been boom, boom, boom. Like people ask me, what would you choose? Speed, execution? I would choose speed over execution any day of the week.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You commit and you figure it out.
Yeah.
And that's been my strategy from day one, and that's what's gotten me to where I am today. But obviously that process was very painful because it wasn't like I was, I never had budgets. I never had projections. I didn't even know. At one point, I was like, in the early days, I was writing things down on a notepad.
Yeah.
Until I discovered QuickBooks. I'm like, oh my God, this is incredible. Like, I couldn't even believe it. I was like, it was like almost like a miracle but I didn't have any experience in it.
Totally.
But once you start surrounding yourself with the right people and they start teaching you things and showing you how to do it, like I remember I became friends with this one person. She runs, I don't know, I think they're up to 15 billion in sales. They're the largest franchisor in the world. And she had me come down to their headquarters, and I was just blown away, man. And we had a really good relationship. And she just introduced me to everybody. You take care of Josh, you show him what to do. And I would start going to all these different places, and I'd spend like a couple days there. You think I wanted to go to all these random places? No, I remember some places were so
That's
remote.
the education you ever got.
Oh, dude, better than any school teacher will ever teach you.
Absolutely.
Like my thing was school. Like you got a guy teaching you. Let me see your bank account.
Literally,
I want to see your bank account.
Yeah, exactly.
You teaching me something? Like, come on. So, there were some times where I go to like a airport, and then I have to take a rent-a-car for 3 hours to drive to this location because some of it was like in just random places. But that's how I learned, man. And I just kept doing it over and over and over. And did I want to do it? Of course I wanted to do it to learn, but did I want to actually do it? No.
Right.
Inconvenient, time all crazy. There was 1 week I was in like 7 states in 1 week, or like 8 states in 1 week. Like just crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
But that's what you got to do.
It's really funny though, because everything you're saying, I've done. It's funny, right? So it's like there's nothing. It's all about not looking at anything like you just said as a waste of time, right? I borrowed $1 million at a very high percentage rate to start my business. Ran out of that million pretty quickly. Borrowed another $1 million, right? Yep. I've owed people 6 figures at so many points in my 23-year career that when you say, "Oh, I owed them $100,000," I'm like, "That's it," like that's how my mind, right? It's not it's just funny because like a lot of people probably don't really understand that this is very normal stuff. It is. And I made a post yesterday, like failure is the biggest teacher I've ever had, right?
Hands down. Just don't make the mistake again. Too.
Exactly. I move super fast, and I keep people around me that are more conservative and like opposite of me. And I'll challenge them all the time. They'll shut me the hell up, and I'll be like, no, but I still have to finish this thought, So very similar qualities, obviously. And I also, I will bet on myself any day of the week, right? Like nobody's ever going to fucking stop me, period, end of story.
Hands down. See, the thing is, people think like debt's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. Look, going out and wasting your money on something you can't afford, yes, that's a bad thing.
Going and buying bottles at a nightclub for fucking thousands of dollars, which I've done way too many times to count, is a stupid thing.
That's stupid. But putting $200,000 into your business and putting you in debt, That's a smart thing because you're building something, and eventually that's going to pay you back. But it's got to be smart. Like you can't be spending money. Like to this day, like you know, I still don't spend money on certain things because I just don't want to do it yet.
Yeah.
And I could, but I don't because I keep reinvesting it back into the business.
It's
and
also delayed gratification, right? Which is part of the qualities that I think we share, where you like really, you know, you could do things, but part of the game is not.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. It's funny because I struggle with that, but I just recently made a purchase and I'm like, you know, it took a long time for me to get there. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm on the road to 50 now. What the hell have I worked my ass off for along the way? If it makes me happy, you know, I should do something.
100%.
That's how I look at it. So tell us, all right, after the cash flow issues, who'd you sell your first franchise to?
Yes, that's a great story. So, I got so many good stories, but
we're gonna have part 2, 3, 4.
So I didn't take a vacation in 8 years. And we're just about to have my first son, and my wife's like, you know, I want to go away. She was begging me to go to Cabo. She's like, let's go. It's so nice. Look at this place. I just got approved for franchising. It was the last week of December.
In 3rd. Where, New York or
just
what state?
Overall, you got approved in New York, and then I had other registration states or whatever, but got approved to be a franchise and start selling.
Got it.
And it was the last week of December 2013. So we started officially being able to sell in January 2014. And I was like, all right, let's go on this trip. So we went on this trip, and the whole time I'm like, man, how am I going to sell this first franchise? If you look at the stats, man, because we're coming up on a 10-year anniversary, less than 5% in 10 years sell more than 10 franchises.
Less than 5% in 10 years, less than 5?
Sell more than 10.
Oh, sell more than 10.
And less than like 3% ever get over 100. The numbers are crazy.
That just means there's way too many franchise concepts.
There's over 4,000.
That shouldn't be.
There's over 4,000 franchise brands.
And founders that, you know, probably aren't willing to do what it takes to actually get there.
100%, but those numbers are crazy.
Crazy.
We're approaching our 200 location, which is exciting. But so I was like, all right, we'll go on this trip. We get there the first day. You know, we didn't have time to like make a reservation at these restaurants, so we go like to the buffet, whatever. And I'm getting to dessert now. I love my brownies. All right. Now, I live by the 80-20 rule. I'm very clean during the week. Maybe I'll go off one day during the week. And on the weekend, I usually eat whatever I want. But I always stick to my basics, like protein every meal. And if I want to eat like a whole pizza, which I'll do, I can't eat the whole pizza until I have my protein. Then I'll have the whole pizza. But that's how I do it on the weekends. But I load up my plate with brownies. Jay, I must have had like 40 brownies on there. So I'm walking back to my table, and this guy's looking at me. And he's, what are you doing, all the brownies? But we start talking. And he's like, what do you do for a living? So I start telling him. And he's like, wow, my son would love this. Go back to the table. Turns out his wife and my wife have already been talking, and we're actually right next to each other with tables. So now I'm FaceTiming with his son, Sam. 2 weeks later, closed the first franchise in Westchester County. And then I pitched that story. I took that story, right? This is why people don't make it to the next level, because they just like, oh, great, I did it. I always go again and further and further. So I took that story to Entrepreneur and pitched it to them. They loved it. I got a free full-page story in Entrepreneur magazine. Amazing. And we made the cover.
Wow.
So we had a little, not like the full page, but like I said, like, first franchise story on there. And then I took off like crazy, man. And then just like I'm on top of everything. And so I just started getting out there more and more and start pitching it. And it was very hard in the beginning. And, I'm selling these franchises working in a very small office at the time. The office is probably smaller than this room we're in right now. It was very small. Yeah. And I sold probably like my first 16, 17 franchises there. Then we moved to another office, which was bigger, but still in the basement. We had like small little squares for windows that you could barely even see out of. You had to stand up with a ladder to even see. And I was there for a long time, and now we have this beautiful building now that's, really, sets a standard and, shows us that we're an international company, which is great.
So smart, too, to buy that building.
Oh,
what an intelligent decision.
That was
it couldn't
key.
be better.
That was key.
You have to tell the story a little bit about that, about the drawing of the building and the building. It's insane.
Yeah, so I'm very big on visualization. I'm very big on believing, and like I literally every morning, like I close my eyes, and there's 10 things that I constantly write down. So I put down goals every single night, and everyone should do this. I would highly advise you do that. Every night, it's before bed. Never, ever, any other time before bed, because that's when you're most tired. That's when someone's going to say, you know what, maybe I'll do it tomorrow night. And you just know that if you don't write those goals down, it's never happening for you.
Sure.
I have books stacked in my closet from over the years. I've been doing this since I'm a little kid. And over the years, man, like going to Costco, check, like we did that. Like so many things just keep changing, right? Buy a building, check. So I write those goals down every day, but I also, there's a couple points in my day where I close my eyes and I go through those goals and I say them out loud. And every time I say it, I visualize it, I see it. So with the building at the time, I used to do that. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to draw it out. I just saw it so clearly in my mind. I got to show you the picture, but I have a picture that
I've
I
seen
drew.
the picture.
Oh, you saw?
Yeah, in your
saw
office. Yeah.
Yeah, I showed it to you. Yeah. I drew a picture like 9-10 years ago of the building. If you actually look at the building on Google Maps and you take an aerial view and look at it, it looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Crazy. Crazy.
Talk to me about how you send tires to people.
Yes. So I'm a big believer in making a big impact, and people are like, why you share your secrets? Because no one's gonna do it. That's why no one's gonna do it. I tell
spot on.
I tell us, and no one's gonna ever do it because honestly, number one, it's very expensive. Number two, it's very time consuming, and I don't ship like regular tires. I ship 18-wheeler truck tires to people. And on the tire, I write my driving intensity will put tread marks all over your floor. We need to connect, and I shipped that to a bunch of big time people that I connected with.
I've seen your wall of the letters and things of that nature. Amazing.
Yep. But got me on Gary Vee's podcast, who's a great guy.
I listened to that podcast before we knew each other.
Did you?
Yeah,
really?
that's how I really learned your story.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Which is so cool too, right? Like
cool.
just to listen to stories and hear about people and then get to meet them and become friends with them is like
And the biggest one, it didn't happen yet, but because it keeps getting screwed up with timing because he's very busy, but I shipped it to Phil Knight, the founder of Nike. And,
I remember you telling me that.
And he responded in 7 days when Nike said it would take 6 months to a year if you're lucky. And I'm in contact with them almost like every other month. And we were supposed to meet, actually. We had a set date. It was in March of 2020, and then COVID hit. And it's just been getting pushed off. And then, years went by. But, why everyone else would be crying, oh, my God, it's not going to happen. I just kept that relationship. And we do have a date set coming up in the next 2 months, but we'll see what happens, but I will be meeting Phil Knight, and I'm looking forward
100%.
to that. And the reason I like Phil Knight, and I'm not really big into like celebrities or like, I'm not into that, but the reason I love Phil Knight, and I would highly implore anyone listening to this to read the book Shoe Dog.
I did, yeah.
It's the greatest business book you'll ever read. And, he created a new category, and that's what we did, and that's what we're doing, and that's what we're going to continue to keep doing. And I just admire him and what he's done. And, that guy lived in more debt, more than half his life, severe debt.
Yep.
And I can relate to so many stories, like when I was stacking up millions in debt and then getting sued, and I had a class action lawsuit, and I won because I always win. And I can sit here for hours telling you all the crazy stories, but I really relate to the guy. And I just want to shake his hand, 5 minutes, take a picture, and I'd be very happy.
That's amazing. Yeah. Who else is on that list that you want to meet?
Honestly, that's really
a short list of
it was a
people?
short list.
Yeah.
Everyone else that I wanted to meet, I'm actually good friends with now. They're my friends. It's crazy. And the craziest thing is one of them sometimes reaches out to me for advice, which is like so like humbling. I can't even tell you, like, Josh, let me run something by you. And I'm like, I'm on the phone and I'm like pinching myself. I'm like, this guy's reaching out to me. He runs a freaking 900, almost $1 billion company. But yeah, like, something I've learned, the smartest people, doesn't matter how much money they're making, always ask, always are curious, always ask questions, and they don't have an ego, right?
Yeah. Like,
I'll ask anybody. Like, I could learn advice from someone who could be in a lower position but have a good perspective, but maybe they don't have the ability or the balls to take a risk like I would or like you would. But, like, you should never close the door to people, and you should always be open-minded because you never know who you're going to meet and what that possibility can open for you.
Totally agree. It's funny because I keep seeing the quote, and I actually posted it recently, that people at the bottom compete, people at the top collaborate.
Yeah, I love that.
True.
It's very true.
Right?
Very, very true.
And it's when somebody sees somebody as unique as yourself, even if you're early on and they're very successful and you approach them in the right way, they want to help you.
Dude, I've never gotten a no from someone who's higher level than me. Never in my life, ever. And I'm talking high level, highly skilled, highly successful people.
Yep.
Have never, dude, they want to help you.
Of course.
They want to help you. But most people won't like reach out to them. Most people won't do, like, someone's not going to send 700 emails.
Yeah.
Like, someone's not going to be creative. And like, like I hate when people reach out to me, hey, I want to tell you about this great opportunity and I want to take over your bookkeeping. You're an idiot. That's not how you approach somebody. You need to work on building relationship capital. And the most important skill, if you're really listening right now, is to develop EI, right? Emotional intelligence, and understand how people work and understand how to build relationship capital. Because relationship capital is going to get you a lot further than actual capital.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to open doors for you and open opportunities for you.
So true.
Yep.
Great advice. So you're in how many states? 32 states?
Yes.
And so tell us about where you are now as a company and what the plans are.
Yeah, we service over 1,500 cities. We're in the U.S., Canada, the U.K. We're growing rapidly. This has been our largest year of growth we've had right now. It's very exciting. And
the timing is on your side. You know, I feel like and by the way, we had an awesome time using you guys in Arizona recently.
Thank you so much for that.
Amazing.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Great.
That was incredible. He's doing really well now. He's starting to take
Good.
off. Yeah, it's a great market. But yeah, we're growing rapidly, and it's not going to stop. You know, it's not going to stop. It's really, really exciting. We just got blessed actually this month. We're back on the front page of Entrepreneur Magazine. This is now the second magazine cover in 3 months that we've been on. And we're on there with some really, really huge brands, and it's crazy because like I knew it from day one. Like I always knew it. I just think about all those people who laughed at me and all those people who screwed me over and all those people who backstabbed me, and look who's laughing now, right?
Do you ever have the feeling, like, it's funny because I'm so the same way, where when I started Sabre, like, to me it was already huge. Like the minute I started it, right? So all of a sudden people would start seeing signs and start seeing us in different places and representing this brand and so on and so forth. They'd be like, dude, you're crushing it, bro. Like, congratulations. You're like, actually, it looks like you're having some success. And I'd look at them like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, this has been going on for such a long period of time when it really hasn't. But I just like have this kind of warped perception of and positive outlook on everything where 100%. It's like, I always feel like my company and myself are further along than we are. But on the flip side, I also feel like I never accomplished anything every morning I wake up. I kind of wake up with that fire every day.
You have to. And, you know, it's funny. Like, I don't really celebrate, like, too much.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, I just like, I'm winning and I'm on to the next thing.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird.
It's weird. It's, I don't like throw big parties or like, I just, you know, I win and I just keep going. Like I just want more. I want more. I keep wanting more.
You do big events though for your franchisees. Is that an annual thing?
We just had our annual convention. It was in Orlando. Incredible. You got to watch the video.
Yeah, I would love to.
Oh, video's incredible.
We hear our audio, Britt. So tell me about the franchise group of GYMGUYZ. Like, you're changing lives, right? At the end of the day, like we're talking about business. We're talking about all the things that motivate you to grow the company and so forth. But the reality is, you're changing lives. You're having a major impact on people to live a healthier lifestyle, like you do. Talk a little bit about that, because that has to be the why behind what you do as a trainer that built this amazing company.
So when I got into it, I used to always be like, man, I want to start a company. I want to be filthy rich. I want to make so much money. It's going to be, but what happens is as you start like getting smarter, you start realizing it's more about purpose. And I always say it's great to make a living. It's much better to make a difference. Wow. And we really help people, man. So like we're very heavily involved in the autistic community. What we do with these kids, I can't even get into it because I'll get emotional. Like I've got calls from mothers crying on the phone to me. Like their daughter was functioning at a low level, and now because of our workouts and exercise, they're functioning at a high level. Yeah. Or someone's getting bullied and, you know, he has no confidence and we help build their confidence. Or someone's trying to make a sports team, or this one wants to lose 100 pounds, or this one's been suffering with back pain their whole life and now they're out, they're pain free, right? Like doctors need to stop prescribing pills and start prescribing movement.
Yeah.
Exercise, movement, I swear, cures everything.
100%
everything.
Agree. 100%.
But like people don't realize, like I always say, there's four facets to be successful. Number one, you got to have the right mindset. Number two, you got to have discipline. That discipline's got to be followed up with that consistency because they go hand in hand. And the last one is your health and fitness. If you don't have that, it's over. It's over. It's over.
I would even, at this stage of my life, I put my health and my fitness first, and I think it enables me to do everything.
Yeah, that's not a particular order, but those are the four things.
I thought it was.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I just, again, like, I can't really operate. I can't do what I need to do in a day if I haven't gotten my workout in, done that.
It's funny you say that because I'm off today because I had an international call this morning. I was in my office at 3:45 in the morning till about 5:15 on the call, and I couldn't work out this morning.
There you go.
So now I'm going to get it in. I got to figure out how I'm going to squeeze it in today, but I'm going to squeeze it in. But it's when I get thrown off my routine, and lately it's been happening a lot because these international calls, and there's 7 hours ahead or 5 hours ahead. Now, do you think I really want to be doing those calls? No. But you have to.
Of course.
Like, it's inconvenient to me now. I'm in the middle of the day. I got stuff going on, but the workout's always a priority.
I feel like it's funny because like when you say like, do I really want to be doing those calls? I feel like that's like you're so fortunate to be doing those calls.
100%.
Where I know you mean you really truly do, obviously, but it's like you just have to move shit around because I also like being so disciplined and people are like, dude, because I post at the end of my day every day just for an accountability tool for myself. I post it's like plus or minus 10 things, right? It includes ice bath, sauna, like, whatever. And I do it for me at the end of the day, right? And I'm exhausted at times. I don't want to fucking do it, but I do it. I have, and I get up and I start my next day a certain way. Yep. And it's like I'm starting to try to give myself some grace where if I'm traveling, oftentimes I'm at the airport at 4 a.m., and so forth. And those days I can't get in the workout, and then I'm in LA, and it's 3-hour difference, and I'm gonna get a workout in come hell or high water.
Yep.
But
see what I do, which and I didn't do it this morning because I was in the city late last night because I was out with some of my franchise owners. But like there's been times I've gotten up at like 1:30 in the morning. Like
that's crazy, man.
Oh, dude, I'm crazy.
I've done it too.
Like I've been in like some areas where there's not like a close place to work out.
Sure.
And I've taken like hour Uber rides. Like I'm crazy. Like I will that's how serious I am, and I will not let it.
But will you not like do a 30, 45 minute workout outside, with body weight,
I would if I had to, but like I need to lift heavy weights. Like it's just, I need like it's
how many days a week?
5 days a week.
What are your splits?
So Monday I do chest, Tuesday I do back, Wednesday I do legs, Thursday I do shoulders, Fridays I do arms, and then on Mondays I do steady state cardio. I'm really big on HIIT cardio. Tuesday I do the sauna. Wednesday I do insane HIIT cardio. You'd probably end up in the hospital if you did it with me. Like it's so insane.
Can you describe that a little bit?
I will. Yeah. And then Thursday I do my sprints. Friday I do my sauna. Saturday I play hockey, and Sundays is like my day off. But I'm usually doing something when I'm active. But my craziest cardio workout is insane, man. It's insane, like insane. So I do the row machine. So it's four rounds, and I finish it with the assault bike. So the first round is 1,000 meters. You have to complete 1,000 meters in 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Mm-hmm. Then you rest for 30 seconds. Then right from there, you go into box jumps for a minute. Then you rest 10 seconds. Then you go into 15 to 20 burpees. Rest, round 2. Row machine, 500 meters. Mm-hmm. You got to get it under 145. Then repeat the same things, right? The box jumps, the burpees. Then 500 meters again, repeat the same thing. Then the last round is 300 meters under 50 seconds. I don't know if you've ever done a row machine. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And then same thing. Then you go to the assault bike, 8 rounds, 10 working.
The assault bike's worse than the row machine.
10 working, 40 rest. Each round has to be between 800 and 900 watts. Each round. It's sometimes
you'll
I lose
die.
my hearing in my ears.
Yeah, that's
like,
very
and
intense.
I only do that once a week because it's so taxing on your nervous system that like your body can't handle it.
Yeah.
But the reason I do these things that are so intense because I believe that when you get all your hard things done and you're suffering in the morning, like I mean like suffering. Like people work out and I work out. Yeah. There's a big difference between working out and working out. Yeah. And I believe when you suffer and put yourself through pain every day, I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared to do it. Like I actually like before I started, like I dread it. Like I'm scared to do it.
Yeah.
But then when someone serves you with a lawsuit or someone quits or some stupid thing happens or COVID happens, you can't break me. And when you think like that, and when you put yourself through that type of pain, you become unstoppable. And that's really why it's so important. And that's why it's so important to always do those things early in the morning.
Yeah. No,
but sometimes you get thrown off your routine. Like today, I had no choice. Yeah. I was going to wake up at like 1 o'clock, but I was like, man, that's not really smart. I'm going to probably end up hurting myself because I'm so tired. Yeah. Maybe I should sleep a little bit more. Because I'm trying to focus more on prioritizing more sleep because I don't get enough sleep. Yeah. But like, you need to understand sometimes it's good just to throw that in the mix, just to throw you off and be so uncomfortable. Like even simple little things. Like I do stuff like this all the time. Like I always brush my teeth and I use my right hand. Sometimes I'll switch and use my left hand. Seriously, you should try this.
You're a sick.
If I put my sock on with my right foot, I'll do it with my left foot first, or like my pants on.
That's so interesting.
Because what it does, it like recalibrates and throws off your brain.
Yeah.
Because
I've broken so many things that I've had to like use my opposite, during that, and then you become really good at it.
Yep.
If you break your right hand, right, you have to do everything lefty, and you become really good at it.
Yep.
You should stick to that a little bit more, right, rather than just going back to the old routine.
100%.
You seek discomfort,
I always do.
That's really what it is.
I always play this game in a sauna. I don't do it anymore because I'm my
You
own
hold
sauna.
your breath for like 5 minutes.
No, so what I do, is I used to have this rule like no one else could be in there when I'm in there.
Yeah.
And if someone else comes in,
Bounce.
I can't leave until they're gone.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, so it's
even
like
worse.
I used to play this crazy game with myself, and like, dude, one time it was bad. I was like, "Are you getting out?" And he's like, "No, I'm being here like
$5
I
to get out."
I got like another 10 minutes. I was like, I literally touched this. I was like, "Could you do me a favor?" And he's like, "What's that?" I was like, "Can you step out for 1 second and then let me just get out?" And he's like looking at me, and I was like, "Yeah, it's this like sick thing I play in my head. Like, could you just step out for just 1 minute so I can get out?" And he did it, so I was able to get out. But like, I can't. I like.
Is that OCD? Like, it's funny. I ask myself.
It's a little. I guess it's a little.
Because I'm
bit,
that way too.
I guess it's a little bit OCD,
Yeah.
but like, there's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's something to it that like.
It's a game.
Yeah, but
a game with yourself.
It is, but it's also a game in the fact that business is a game and life is a game.
Yeah,
and if you want to play the game, like you gotta.
And you play to win.
Yeah, you gotta play it, and you gotta play it right. So I just feel like it gives me an advantage when I do things like that.
Do you ever, when you go like to, I don't know if you get coffee ever. Do you drink coffee?
No, never drank coffee
All
in
right.
my life.
Well, how did I know to ask that?
Never.
So it's funny because I always give people a tip. Like I tell them to test their resilience and just being uncomfortable. When they go to Starbucks to order coffee, just ask for a discount or ask for it for free.
So funny you say that. So Fred DeLuca, he told me to do this.
Yeah.
And when I did this, it really helped me a lot. I used to have trouble talking to people.
Yeah.
So he said, listen, go into like a random supermarket that's not near you and go in and ask weird questions.
Yeah.
So I used to go up to people. I'm like, hey, can I have $5? Hey, I'm having chicken tonight. What do you think I should put as a side? Dude, I used to be so uncomfortable asking, but it really worked, man.
It works.
And now, like, I'll stand out there with a chicken suit on and wave at people. I would care less.
Anything that you do long enough that's super uncomfortable will become comfortable.
100%.
And that's, I think, a big part of, doing those things and keeping yourself, challenging yourself. Because
100%.
the things that were challenging to you a year ago are not challenging.
100%.
What, in closing, before we jump, what are some things that you are working on or ideas for yourself to grow, to push yourself? You're so fucking dialed in. I don't know what else you could add,
I just try to improve things like time wise with seconds. Like if I'm doing sprints, I'll try to like do it a little bit longer. Sometimes I do some crazy stuff where like I sometimes like would duct tape my mouth.
Yeah.
I'm doing cardio.
I sleep with my mouth.
Only breathe out of my nose.
Yeah.
Like to put more pressure and strain on my body. I've done things like that, but it's really more like coming down to time and like, doing an
optimization.
Extra, yeah, just like really just performing at like a very high level. That's just, I just always try to just get better at whatever I'm doing.
It's super impressive, man. Yeah. I really enjoyed this conversation.
You too, man.
Yeah, we're going to have to do this again.
Anytime.
And we're going to have to, I don't want to do one of those hit workouts with you, but
whatever you want. I'm really not a big fan of working out people, but if you want to jump in, I'll let you do it. But
I appreciate it.
But yeah, it's intense, man. It's
That's
intense.
crazy, man. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us
Thank
on
you
What
for
the
having me.
Dealio, my brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks, bud.
Thank you.